Congratulations! You started your own business. You wanted a business for freedom, for flexibility, so that you could be your own boss. But you've also realized that you are probably your own worst employee as well. So I get it. The dream of the freedom, the flexibility to own your own hours actually has now been replaced by the fact that you have no routine. You don't really know what you're doing because you haven't got a boss telling you what to do. And if anything, you have got too much freedom and flexibility. So what do you need? You think you need routine, but you don't. In this video, I am going to explain everything to you, lovely. I am going to show you how you can go from 9 to 5 to boss life and create a productive schedule as a business owner. I'm going to show you the secret mindset that you need. I'm also going to give you 3 practical tips that you can use for your time management techniques, and I'm also going to give you a bonus tip if you are like my client Josie, who struggles to plan ahead because she needs to keep her calendar open for appointments. And also make sure you check the show notes as well, because I have got a freebie for you as well. My name is Dartnell. I am a time management coach helping busy business women like yourself, but creating a life and business with freedom, flexibility, without the procrastination, the overwhelm, the shiny object syndrome, or the burnout, or anything like that. So what are you waiting for? Let's dive straight in. Okay, so before we dive into practical tips, we have to talk about the mindset, lovely. I'll be honest with you, this was the hardest thing that I struggled with when I set up my business. It was making that shift from the corporate mindset and identity to having my own business. And what does that look like? And I get it, because you've probably been conditioned, like I was, for years working in corporate, working in that 9 to 5, having the weekends off, having that strict structure, and then having that shift was like, okay. And it brought up a ton of different issues and feelings, from feeling guilty to even people thinking that because I own my own time, I can just take Monday mornings off for coffee and they can call me whenever. And yeah, that's true, but also it was a really difficult shift to make. So the first thing that I want you to do before we get into the practical tips of it is to think about the mindset that you need to cultivate to take you into your new identity, your new era as a business owner. How are you going to shift from employee to being the CEO of your life and your business? And I want you to think this about in terms of your mindset, but also your time and your energy. So you get to choose, you get to design your day, you get to design your business, but you have to take control, because that choice is yours, which is great, but you have to now be intentional with what you do. So I want you now to think about, right, I've got my CEO mindset. Now let's talk about how we actually incorporate that into your day-to-day, into a structure as a business owner. Okay, so practical strategies for you, lovely. So first of all, I'm going to lay it to you straight as a time management coach. So many times people talk about creating routine, and I really understand where that is coming from, but it doesn't work. We need structure. Now, the reason why routine doesn't work is because most people don't have 2 days, let alone 2 weeks, that ever look the same. And routine gives the feeling that you are going to be doing the same thing at the same time every single day. And I haven't worked or met one business owner yet where this is true. So first of all, let's scrap routine and let's start thinking about how we create structure. So what does this actually mean? So structure sounds so rigid, doesn't it? But it doesn't have to be. Structure is just about knowing what mode you're in and when you're going to do the things that you say you're going to do or that you want to do. Now, a big caveat to this is to not just think about your time, but to also think about your energy. Hear me out. In 2019, I had a huge burnout. I was shit hot at time management prior to that, and I was planning. I was productive. I was prioritising. I was doing all the different matrices and blah, 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 blah. But I still burnt out. Why? Because, yeah, I was looking after my time, but I wasn't looking after my energy. And that was a big wake-up call for me. So one of the things that I advocate and I teach now is don't just look at your time management from a time perspective, but look at it from an energy perspective. So when you're creating structure in your business, in your day-to-day, I also want you to think about the energy behind it, not just your time. So practical time management technique number 1, know your mode. As I said before, this is really, really important because this is going to help you put the right hat on for the task or the thing that you're about to do. I've always advocated this, and recently I finished reading 10x is easier than 2x by Dan Sullivan, and he kind of alluded to something very similar. He gave the analogy and the story about if you were like a performer, an actor, actress, or something like that. And he said that there's different days depending on what they're doing. So they might have performance days, they might have rehearsal days, and they might have recovery days. And this is pretty much what I'm advocating as well. But you can change the titles. But it's about basically, what are you showing up as? Is it a performance day? Are you doing the thing that you do in your business? For example, coaching. Or is it a rehearsal day? So you're behind the scenes, you're maybe working with your own coach, or you're doing some extra study, or you're doing something that helps enhance you in your business and what you do. But then it's also really important to have recovery days as well. And this is the thing that I missed out and hence caused my burnout in 2019, because I was always in go, go, go mode and I was never in recovery mode. So performance, rehearsal, and recovery. And by knowing your mode, which one are you in, you can then help use that to build out a structure for your day and for your week. And this is also really important if you are one of these people that you feel guilty for taking time off, or you have a tendency to be a bit of a people pleaser and do too much for your clients or in your business. Okay, number 3, time blocking. Now, there is a whole other video on time blocking where I'm actually going to show and do a live demo of how I do it. But time blocking basically is just blocking out the time of doing the things you say you are going to do. So rather than just having on your to-do list that you are going to write social media for the week and do your content, when are you actually going to do that? Time block that out. And it's getting away from just having a mega long to-do list to creating a structure in your day or in your week. Now, as I said before, we want to be thinking beyond time. We also want to be thinking about energy as well. So if you're a morning person, you probably want to time block things that require brain thinking and creativity earlier on in the morning. This gives you flexibility to your structure, which is really, really important because I know as a business owner that is something that you crave. Now, one of the techniques that my clients love is called Tetris your calendar. I'm giving away my age there because, I played Tetris when I was younger. But basically, it's about moving all the different pieces around so they fit. One of my clients, Alicia, she absolutely loves this. And this is also going to really help if you have ADHD, because you suddenly might get a bit of a hyper focus on. And I'm so guilty of doing that, by the way. And I want to capitalize on that. So I don't want to then go, at 11 o'clock I had a time block for something else. I can now just move that somewhere else and swap it about. So this is really, really important to give you structure, but with flexibility. A bonus tip for you as well. If you are like my client who can't be too rigid in her planning because she's got to keep her calendar open for appointments, this is going to be really useful for you. So what I advise to her, and this is something I do for myself because I do often have my calendar open for calls and things like that and I don't know what's going to drop in, is time block that out. So for example, Thursday afternoon, you've scheduled 3 hours to be able to take calls, appointments, massages, whatever. But it gets to Thursday morning and no one's booked. Rather than just sitting there twiddling your thumbs, come Thursday afternoon being like, I don't know what I'm meant to be doing or how I can use this time, have a list of things that you will do if there is no appointment. So it's a kind of if this, then that. So if there isn't a call booked in, this is what I'm going to work on instead. So you can still use this principle of time blocking to your advantage to create structure. The third thing that I want to give you as a practical time management technique here is thinking about your BAU, your business as usual. So what we tend to do as business owners is we'll be really good at doing the client stuff, really good at meeting deadlines, we'll be really good at doing like the stuff that is needed of us, like projects, but we will forget about the BAU, the business as usual. Now, this isn't just the firefighting stuff, because generally business owners seem to be very good at like responding to every ping and ding on their phone and laptop straight away, when probably that is distracting them. But this is about doing the things that you know compound over time, but there's no deadline on it. So I'm talking about things like posting consistently on social media. There's no penalty if you don't do that today. But you're going to start noticing it if you don't do it consistently, because you're going to notice that your engagement drops, or you're going to notice that your leads dry up in your business. So the BAU stuff is that important stuff that isn't urgent, often gets pushed to the bottom of the to-do list and is I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do double tomorrow to catch up. We've got to be careful of those things. So my tip for you there is to time block and create structure, but also when are you going to do those business as usual things? Everyone's different and it may depend on your energy. Personally for me, I'm one of these people that I know if I don't do it first thing, even though it's not an urgent task, it won't get done. So I don't believe in eating that frog and doing the biggest task first, because actually for me, the business as usual stuff, that's what needs to get done. So those are 3 very practical time management techniques that are going to help you create that business owner structure without being so rigid that you can't have that flexibility and freedom. And that is absolutely key here. You've got to have that element of flexibility. Now, one of the big things, just to wrap up, one of the big things that I advocate is not having just a clock-driven schedule, but also thinking about your energy. And this is super important as a business owner, because at the end of the day, you are the face and the thing of your business. You are the driving force behind your business. So you've got to look after your energy. And I mean that on all fronts: physical, mental, spiritual, emotional. So don't just think about the clock like you did in 9 to 5. Actually now think about you and your energy as well. Okay, so now you've got a clear strategy for being productive and creating a schedule that works for you outside the 9 to 5 as a business owner. And I just want to remind you, lovely, that this isn't about perfection. This is about progress. And what works for you right now may not work for you in the future. And that is okay. Like, you can tweak your schedule, you can tweak your structure to make it work for you. Also, as a bit of a bonus, if you go to the show notes, I do have an extra download for you. This is my CEO checklist, so this is going to help you include all those BAU things that I mentioned that we often forget about. And if you like this video, then make sure that you give this a thumbs up, give it a like, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss future videos and content. And I would love to help you. Tell me more. Tell me the things that you were struggling with. Tell me what was useful in this video. Get in touch and drop a comment below, and come connect with me on Instagram as well. My name is Dartnell. I'm a time management coach for business women, helping them create a lifestyle and business that they love with freedom and flexibility. And I can't wait to see you in a future video. Thank you. We have to talk about your mindset before we dive into practical tips, okay? Because getting away from the, oh my God, look at all that sweat.